so was Richard Gelb, who believes in the work of the SCLC very deeply. It is typical of him. He has involved himself, as have other businessmen, involved themselves in this city during this administration very deeply in the problems of the city. This is for the first time that the business community has turned around and faced squarely the problems of New York, have plunged in to assist. Mr. Gelb believes in the work of the SCLC. He is an active participant in the urban coalition. He fought successfully to keep his company from moving out of the city and encouraged other businessmen to stay with the city and to involve themselves. His company has contributed $128,000 to the New York City Better Block program to help build neighborhood block associations, particularly in the most hard-pressed neighborhoods of New York where they needed help the most. And he and his company have responded outstandingly every time that the city has asked for private sector assistance and participation in various city programs. This administration has tried to encourage that kind of business participation in the public interest. And in the final...
Mr. Mayor, you have condemned the Con Edison call for a rate increase of about 14 or 15%. Would you support any rate increase?
Well, once again, I think it would be terribly premature for me to make any statement on that at all. This has to go before the Public Service Commission. Mr. Rankin, the Corporation Counsel of the City of New York, representing the city and the consumers of our city, will be in opposition, representing the city at that. And Mr. Rankin is the city's lawyer in fighting for the consumer.
Well, you have
and
already
this is highly, our position will be that Consolidated Edison is not entitled to rate increases on the basis of today's service performance and record of that. Now, that has to be tested and examined. Corporation Counsel, representing me as the mayor and chief executive and the people of the city of New York, will be in opposition to all increases that have been asked for by Consolidated Edison. Then the decision as to what will be granted will be made by New York State Public Service Commission. And the position of the Corporation Counsel of the city, of myself, is going to be in opposition. And we will ask for a full justification and accounting from Consolidated Edison as to why they're entitled to any such increase.
Mr. Mayor, one last question, at least from me anyway. Sorry. Mr. Procaccino has said that if the state and federal funds are not forthcoming, he would subsidize the 20-cent fare out of the city's general fund. If you are re-elected, would you do the same thing to maintain the 20-cent fare?
My fight continues and will continue straight through to see to it that New York City and the strap-hanners, the subway riders, and the bus riders in New York City are treated fairly. And that means that New York State, the Tri-Bourne Bridge and Tunnel Authority, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, federal government, and the city government have got to mobilize a meaningful fight to do this. And I think it's abundantly clear that the city can't do everything by itself, and if the state, federal governments, and the Metropolitan Transportation Authority thought the city could, they'd turn around and do nothing themselves. They'd say, we don't have to do anything, New York City can do it. Well, we pump in an extraordinary high subsidy into mass transit, and we've escalated it. Under my administration, it's gone up every year. It's very substantial.
Mr. Mayor.
And we think it's high time that these other governmental organizations and institutions, and I include the Tri-Bourne Bridge and Tunnel Authority and the Metropolitan Transportation Authority as governmental institutions, it's high time they did their share.